So it's about playing a role. A lot of autistic people in their life well, I should say I'm Dara, I'm autistic and ADHD. And I like these little education clips because it gives me a way to pass on information to other people about some of my learnings. And I found that myself and a lot of autistic people I know play a lot of roles in their life. So as an example, I spent a bit of time in my life as a lawyer. When I did my law degree, I wasn't doing it to learn about law. I was doing it because I liked Denny Crane from Boston Legal and was going to be Denny Crane. So for me, I would pick a role and I would play that role. And even when I practiced as a lawyer, I was very much so quite scandalous and manipulative, and I would do ridiculous things. Probably not quite Boston Legal style, but out there, because I was playing that role and that was how I was being a lawyer. Further to that, I had a friend tell me that when she was younger, her auntie passed away, and she barely knew her auntie. I think she'd met her once, but when her mum told her, her mum burst into tears. And so my friend went to school that day and said to all her friends, "Oh, my auntie's passed away," and then burst into tears. And they were like, "Oh, did you know your auntie?" She's like, No, I didn't." And they're like, "So why are you crying?" She's like, I don't know. She just played a role. Like, she worked out how she had to act to this situation and she acted that way. So there's a lot of that. It's hard to work out what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to act in a variety of situations that we know the neurotypical way is demonstrating high levels of certain emotions. And yet, because we don't have that same, I suppose, relationship with our emotional self, our emotions are very compartmentalized like the rest of our life. There's a big myth that autistic people aren't emotional. Absolute rubbish. We have grand emotions, much bigger emotions. But autistic emotion is about a purpose, and therefore it's amplified. We don't care about the little things. I have people, I had a fight with my boyfriend and I forgot to get milk and I'm just really upset. And I'm like, okay, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't need to know this. But then I'll see things that really upset me, like child abuse and human rights violations. And I'll get so angry, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't think. And people will be like, "Why are you so upset?" I'm like, "Why does this not bother you? Like, this is such a big deal for me. I'm so upset about it." And I'm like, well, okay, so maybe I don't have all the silly little emotions that neurotypical people do about all the this and that. But my Lord, I have big emotions about the things that actually matter to me, So I suppose in saying that, what we do is we compartmentalize things so well. So I have things in boxes, and that's that monotropic thought. I think about this at this time. I think about this at this time. My emotions are spent on this at this time. And that's why the role playing is so important. So role playing is not necessarily because we don't have a personality. It's because we choose a certain thing we want to do and we do it that way. We don't just do it as part of our normal personality, because I think a lot of us don't actually know what our normal personality is. I feel quite disassociated from my personality at times. Like, I don't quite know what it is. I'd be silly and I carry on to disrupt social situations because I like breaking social norms, ADHD in me. But I think there's a part of me that always wonders if someone's going to grab me one day and say, "Hey, you're not a real adult. Why are you pretending?" And I'm going to be like, "Oh my gosh, they found me out." There's that real disassociation I constantly feel. And I think that's why it's easier to just play a role and be that person. And then if I can copy that person, and then I know how to play that role. And that's a benefit. So that's role playing as I see it.